This is Justin Welby.
I do point fingers at Hamas and say this is terrorism at its most extreme and most evil.
There are Palestinians who are pointing fingers at the Israeli government for killing their family members in airstrikes. They call that collective punishment. But you're not prepared to go there.
It's not. You can say something which in different circumstances might be useful at a time that just makes everything worse. And of course, Palestinian families cry out in protest. Who wouldn't when they've lost their children? Let's not run to judgment and blame straight away. Let us lament and mourn with them.
Wow. I'm joined by Jonathan Coulter and Nicola Grove, who are both involved in CAMPAIN without the G. And there's a protest on Tuesday. I'm just going to show a sort of flyer. Join the Lambeth Witness Group's protest on February the 6th, and it's at Westminster Abbey. Anyway, would you be able to tell us a bit more about that, Jonathan? And then maybe Nicola, you can tell us more about why you're protesting.
Yes, thank you, Crispin. Yeah, well, CAMPAIN is a non-partisan secular organization, including people of all faiths and none. We have a strong Christian contingent, of which Nicola is representative. So our event next Tuesday we're going to have a series of short protests outside Westminster Abbey, and that, of course, is also close to Church House, which headquarters of the Church of England, which is just inside Dean's Yard. We shall be assembling at 4:30 for a photo opportunity outside the Abbey at 5 p.m. sharp. So we encourage you to get there early, all right? It's to be a quiet and dignified event, but we shall keep up the pressure as the weeks go on. For more information, you can contact our press secretary, Sharon Green, at Sharon_EAPPI@msn.com, or you can contact me at admin@campaign.org.
Nicola, I've read some of your email to me. My parents are Quakers. One of them is born a Quaker, one converted, but is now not so sure about it. And we did do a feature on Ruth Cadbury and the
Catherine West.
Catherine West, yeah, about how could Quakers actually vote and not vote for a ceasefire. And I believe you're a Quaker, so we've kind of. It's shocking to me that could happen at all. I can't get my head around it. So no. Could you tell us what your thoughts are on generally Quakers, but also other Christian churches?
Yes, so I'm a confirmed Anglican as well as a Quaker. And I wanted to say, first of all, to Pastor Munter, how deeply ashamed I am, how deeply, deeply ashamed I am by the stance of Justin Welby and other church leaders who have been completely silent since the ICJ court judgment. It's unbelievable to me. Why am I protesting? Well, of course I'm protesting. Of course I'm out there on the street. It is the least that you can do. The least that you can do is to write to your bishops, to write to your MPs, to get out there on the streets, support people in Palestine. What is going on is completely unacceptable. Do people know that the name for the AI system that targets Palestinian civilians, do you know what the name of it is, Crispin?
No.
It's called Gospel, right? It's called Gospel. Now, that is gaslighting Christianity on an absolutely, it's perverted. The word gospel means good news. The word gospel is the good news that Christ brought to the world. And they're using that term They're using that term, and Justin Welby stands there and stutters about whether he should be calling out genocide. And as for the refusal to, the withdrawing of funding from UNRWA, how can they stand by and do that? We should, I cannot believe what is happening. As far as Quakers go, I think for me, it's to be in a faith group that has always supported peace, has always supported the Palestinian cause through the ecumenical accompanying, where Quakers go out, as do many other groups actually, and bear witness alongside Palestinians who are being driven off their land, beaten, oppressed. That's a great source of pride. But Quakers are a diverse group like any other group. And to me, it is completely shameful that 2 Quaker Labour MPs should abstain on a ceasefire motion. It means that their Quaker faith means nothing to them, nothing, when it comes to, being politicians. That's what trumps it. And I wrote to both of them, and I have heard nothing from Ruth Cadbury and an acknowledgement from Catherine West.
Well, I can I just say personally, I was in Ruth Cadbury's constituency. She was my Labour candidate when I was in the Labour Party, and I was appalled at her response to when there was a threat to bomb the Syria bombing with Ed Miliband when he was leader. She spoke in a meeting and she apologized that she was a Quaker and she couldn't support it. I mean, you don't apologize for having a belief in pacifism.
I'm sorry, what would George Fox have done? The Quakers of the 17th century, they didn't go around being silent. They stood up. They called out. They stood up for truth. We were known as friends of truth. And frankly, I think, it's an utter betrayal. It's an utter betrayal of everything that Christianity means. It's a betrayal of everything that Quakers stand for. And I think, another issue which does concern me is the way that there's a kind of orthodoxy in Quakers that silent vigils are really the best, maybe the only way to really act and protest. And so there's been a movement to hold separate demonstrations by Quakers on a different day than the big Palestine marches. And it worries me that inadvertently they kind of give the message that the government are right in saying that the big Palestine demonstrations, which express resilience and energy and yes, anger, but the positive warmth that there is there to all faith groups, most particularly the Jewish groups who are there in force protesting. By saying, oh, well, we must have a silent protest that is separate from this, where everybody can feel comfortable. I don't think they mean to do so, but I think they inadvertently undermine the bigger campaign. Jonathan, you wanted to say something?
You've got your hand up, Jonathan.
Just wanted to say we haven't highlighted genocide in our protests. We've highlighted ethnic cleansing. Because really, genocide has been declared plausible by the ICJ, but ethnic cleansing is, it's out there to be seen, and it's been present in the political Zionist movement ever since the 1890s. This is like, what Brighton Rock is? It's that rock stick, and it has Brighton Rock written all the way through. Well, I'm afraid the political Zionist movement, whether you can understand how it came about because of the way Jews had been treated in Europe, not in Palestine, but it's had that idea of ethnic cleansing. It's been there right the way through. I think we need to create a space for Jews from around the world. So we feel that is what's driving, the primary driver in a situation where you get violence and reprehensible violence on both sides. But what you have to look for the cause and the primary driver. And I'm afraid, much as with, you know, French colonization of Algeria and some of the things which Britain did in Kenya, when it took over the settled whites on the White Highlands, so-called, this is what drives resistance, I'm afraid, and we need to face up to it. Britain needs to face up to it, and the Archbishop of Canterbury needs to face up to it.
Right.
So,
okay. Well, look. Thank you both for coming on. So it's on Tuesday. What time? At 7?
No,
7?
5 to
5.
6. But we are actually going to meet in a cafe, with Cafe Fresco in Tuthill Street, which is just nearby, at 4:30, because we need to be organised so we can have the photo opportunity at 5 p.m. We don't want to miss that. So please come early. All right.
And please, if you can't come, then please consider raising this issue within your churches. Write to your bishops, talk to your PCC, talk to other parishioners, and explain to them, show them what is happening, show them Pastor Munter's words. How can anybody stand aside after hearing that brave man express himself like that?